welcome to my messy kitchen. I'm Zoe Rose, and today I'm here to talk about salads. It's snowing outside my window here in Seattle today in February, and so, I thought, what I'm in the mood for? A nice, big, crunchy salad. I kid, but I do firmly believe that salads are a wonderful thing to eat any time of the year. And to be honest, in winter, I tend to need just a little bit extra inspiration. In summer when tomatoes are ripe and everything you look at is just all vegetables are so beautiful and juicy, you barely even have to do anything to them to make them delicious. It feels really easy to eat salad. And in winter, I tend to gravitate towards a lot of foods that, mostly contain melted cheese, which is a perfectly fine lifestyle. But I also love my salads, and I just need a little bit of an extra jolt of inspiration to get going in that direction sometimes. So I'm going to share a version of a really fun citrus salad with you today. Citrus is a great way to kind of get some winter inspiration going. There's so much beautiful citrus that is ripe during winter, and it's colorful and it's tangy and sweet, and it just really makes for some glorious salad opportunities. I wanted to also take a moment to point out my shirt, give a shout out to my dear friend Jessica and her new line of feminist themed apparel called Miss Ogeny, and I will drop a link to that down below. I am loving my She Thinks and Talks shirt. Okay, without further ado, here we go. So I'm going to start with some beautiful little gem lettuce that I found. First of all, I love it because it's very tiny, and therefore I find it to be very cute. And I like food that's cute. No, but in all seriousness, I do find that finding veggies that are really beautiful and fun really helps me get excited to eat them. I know it sounds kind of silly, but it really helps get more of them onto my plate. So whatever works, right? Okay, so I've already washed and kind of dried and drained these little guys. So I'm just going to lay the leaves down on my plate here. I'm just kind of breaking them off above the super tough part of the core there. And these are really beautiful. They're great in winter. They're great anytime, but they're just super delicate and really great texture, really fun. Make a great base for this salad. This is going to be more of a composed salad versus a tossed or a mixed salad. So I'm just going to lay the components directly onto my plate as we go. And I keep getting distracted because it is seriously snowing out there. And I live in Seattle where it's not crazy for it to be snowing here, but it hasn't snowed yet this winter. So a little bit crazy. Okay, down to the core. I'm just gonna break that up. I've got a nice base layer going here. And this is kind of a version just for one or for one or two. But you could also use, of course, you could definitely make this to any scale that you want. So you could get a really big platter, make a larger version of this, which would be an absolutely beautiful starter for dinner. Or if you add some protein and stuff, it could be a beautiful light lunch for a few people or for a group, or an appetizer or anything like that. Okay, time for a little close-up here. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to cut citrus for your beautiful winter salads. So both are going to start the same way. You're going to lop off the top and the bottom so that your piece of citrus, in this case a grapefruit, sits nice and flat. And I'm just using one of these. It's actually a steak knife from OXO. It's super sharp. I love this. It's a really nice paring knife. I use it all the time in the kitchen. You don't need a lot of expensive knives. So anyway, you're just going to kind of follow the curve of your piece of fruit here and cut down around the outside. You want to make sure you get all the white pith, and of course if there's any left over you can just cut that off. Yeah, keep going all the way around here. And then for this first one, I'm going to show you how to cut any kind of citrus into segments, which is a really beautiful presentation. And yeah, see, often you'll get a little bit of white pith left at the end, no bigs. Just go ahead and trim that off as best you can. Okay, you're going to want to do this next step over a bowl. So I have just a small bowl here. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut along either side of each of the membranes here. So with a sharp knife, again, just a sharp paring knife or a chef's knife or whatever is kind of your sharpest knife, you just cut along each side of the membrane until the little section of fruit called a segment pops free. And then you'll just drop it into your bowl there. And it's great to do this above a bowl because that also catches all the beautiful grapefruit juice that is being released from this gorgeous piece of fruit. And you just keep that up all the way around. You don't want to waste that juice because you can use that for any number of things. First of all, you can just drink it. You can also use it as part of your ingredients. And some of them might not separate perfectly. That's perfectly fine. That might just end up becoming a little chef snack. Citruses, they're not always perfectly even. It's always a roll of the dice, so just do what you can. Yeah, this one's getting a little feisty. Okay, but we've got some really beautiful segments in there ready to go. Okay, so that was our grapefruit, which we cut into beautiful segments here. Now we're going to do the blood orange. Let me switch things around here. Okay, so we're going to start the exact same way, just trim off the top and the bottom so that it will sit nice and flat for you. Blood oranges are always such a fun surprise because some are really dark, some are really light and look just like a normal orange. You never know what you're going to get. So yeah, just do the exact same thing, kind of just follow the curve of the fruit, run your knife around the outside, cutting that peel off. And if you're like super an overachiever, you can candy these citrus peels. That is super delicious. It's pretty time consuming. So I don't do that super often, but it is something that you can do. Maybe I'll drop a link to a recipe for that because that's kind of a fun project, especially around the holidays or anytime you might be using a lot of citrus. So, okay, let's see, get rid of any extra big chunks of the pith that I see. And then for this one, we're going to do a different style, which is to cut it into rounds. So then I'm just going to lay it on its side and cut it into, I'm going right now for probably basically about 1/4 inch slices. You don't want to go too thin or it'll start to fall apart, but you want it to be not super thick either. And actually this orange is already starting to fall apart on me a little bit. Which is totally fine, not a big deal. It won't be as beautiful in wheels, but it'll still be absolutely just as delicious. And look at that gorgeous color of that blood orange. I love how it's kind of a gradient. So that is going to be delightful on our salad. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start arranging these citrus pieces right on top. If I see any big pieces of that pith in the middle, I will maybe take those out. But yeah, and I like my food to be just kind of rustic and fun, so it doesn't have to be super precious. Don't worry about the plating too much. Just kind of throw everything on there and it will be absolutely delicious. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our grapefruit segments that are here in the bowl. You can kind of squeeze out this core and get more juices out too. In fact, I am going to do that. Get all that good grapefruit juice out. You don't want to waste that. But you can always do that later as well. Okay, so I've got my beautiful segments in here. I'm going to fish those out. Toss those on top as well. And you can do either of these types of cuts with any type of citrus. Of course, oranges are great. Pomelos would be really beautiful to do segmented, really nice big segments. But just experiment. You can really try these techniques on any different citrus. It's really fun to do a variety because your plate will have a really beautiful array of just colors and flavors. And again, it really helps liven up winter once citrus season comes along. Okay, So some of these are in smaller chunks, but they are still perfectly delicious. So I'm going to pile those on there as well. Yeah. Okay. And this is already looking so beautiful with just a couple of super simple ingredients. All right, next I had a couple radishes lying around. So a radish is a really nice addition to any salad, but to a nice winter salad for sure. And sometimes I pull out my mandolin and do a super thin slice on veggies for salad, which is great. I do highly recommend you grab one if you are a salad head, such as myself. But you can totally just go with your knife and do thin slices. For this one, I'm kind of going for a really fun, like, visual look, almost inspired by, like, tie-dye or something like that. So I'm just going to cut it into rounds so that it kind of has, like, a really fun shape and color. And that will be a really nice addition as well. Okay, great. We are going to go ahead and dive into the dressing. So for this particular dressing, I'm going to stay with the citrus theme. We're going to do a lime coriander vinaigrette. So I am actually going to add a little bit of that grapefruit juice, not all of it. I really want to mostly focus on the lime juice, which is going to be super nice and tart. But first of all, if you have any extra citrus juice lying around, might as well throw a dash in, spice it up, make it a little bit more of a complex flavor for your dressing. Why not? And you could totally do a grapefruit-based vinaigrette as well. I would say you might want to add a vinegar of some kind as well to just give a little bit more acidity. Because the grapefruit on its own is not super duper tart. But, you know, grapefruit with like a nice red wine vinegar would be really delicious, or do all kinds of fun stuff. Okay, but for this case, we're going to put a little bit of grapefruit juice in, and then I'm going to go ahead and get this lime zested, get that in there. I really just want to layer on as many kind of different citrusy flavors as possible. And oh my gosh, I wish that this video was capturing the smell, because this lime zest smells amazing. But no, it smells really good. I'm getting really excited. Despite the fact that it's snowing outside, I'm getting very pumped for this salad. So yeah, can't wait to see what you think of it. If you do end up trying this recipe, make sure you tag me. I'm on Instagram, dinner at midnight, and my salad hashtag is salad at midnight. So make sure you go ahead and tag all your salads with that. Not just this one, but any of them, so I can see what you're getting up to. Okay, so I zested maybe about half or a little over half of the lime. You can just kind of use your judgment. I'm going to go ahead and cut the lime in half. Squeeze. Woo! Hello! Squeeze it on in there as best as I can. This lime is a little bit tough. Okay, this lime's being a little bit feisty, but I'm going to show you my tong trick, which is you just place your piece of citrus in your tongs and squeeze your tongs. Sometimes I do this just kind of after I've squeezed by hand just to get the last little bit out. But this lime's a little bit stubborn, so it's putting up a little bit of a fight. So I'm just going to go ahead and go all tong in the second half. Okay, so we've got a good amount of lime and grapefruit juice in there. Oh yeah, baby. Again, when I'm just cooking at home, I oftentimes don't really measure. I like to just throw in this and that, and it really does help you get a feel for ingredients and just kind of taste as you go, and you'll learn, in my opinion, you'll learn how to cook a lot better and a lot faster that way if you just kind of throw the book out and just do your own thing. Well, to an extent. So, you know, getting comfortable eyeballing things has been really, really fun and really great in the kitchen. So strongly suggest you give it a try. I will also give a guideline. I'll put the recipe up on my blog and give a guideline for amounts as well. So I put a generous pinch of salt and a good old grind of pepper in there. And then I am going to add my olive oil. If I can open the bottle smoothly. Here we go. Okay, so for that amount of lime juice, I want to give a healthy amount of olive oil. I like to use not a really nice, but I like to use a nicer olive oil for salads because you're really going to taste it versus for cooking you can definitely get away with using kind of just a whatever olive oil. So I like to go a little step above that for my salads. Oh, you know what? I forgot something. I wanted to also add some coriander to this. Coriander, such a beautiful spice, and it has a really lovely kind of citrusy but slightly woodsy herbal flavor that I just absolutely love. It is, of course, the seeds of cilantro. So it has a very different flavor, which is really, really beautiful. So add that in there. So that's adding kind of another layer of a citrus-esque or kind of a tart flavor. So we're just layering it on and on and on and on. Okay, so I like to taste my dressing on a leaf of lettuce if possible to really make sure I have the balance right. Because if you taste it on your own, it might taste fine. But really you want to know what it tastes like on your salad. So I'm just going to dip this little guy in there. That is very nice. Remember, you want your dressing to be super flavorful because it's going to be the sole seasoning for your beautiful salad. Okay, now here is the time when I'm going to give you my speech about all the different things that you could add to this if you'd like. To really round the salad out into a meal, you could add a protein. I think seafood is really lovely on winter salads. Like, I actually have some, I just happen to have some kind of slow roasted salmon here that I'm going to add, but shrimp would be really beautiful on here, or smoked salmon, any kind of fish, or crab would be super lovely here. For a vegetarian version, some marinated white beans would be lovely to give it a little bit extra boost of protein. And you can marinate those in the same dressing. Just not even marinate, you could just kind of mix the beans with the dressing, throw it over the top, and then add more dressing to everything. Cheese, of course, you can always add cheese. I'm a big advocate of adding cheese to everything that you eat, always. I'm keeping it simple today, but feta would be really lovely here. Maybe some goat cheese or whatever you're feeling. I mean, really get crazy with it. So yeah, like I said, I have a little bit of slow roast salmon here that I like to just roast with a healthy amount of olive oil at kind of a pretty low temp. It almost gives like a faux confit type of really beautiful texture. So I won't get too much into that, but maybe I'll post a link to a good recipe. I just did olive oil, salt, pepper, and a little bit of red pepper flake, and roasted it at about 300 until it hit 125. Yeah, so I'm just going to kind of tuck that around. So any protein or any extras, avocado would be absolutely beautiful here. Avocado and citrus are a classic, gorgeous winter pairing. Avocados have been not too good to me lately. It's just so hard to find that perfect avocado, and I've cut into a few that left me a little bit heartbroken lately, so I didn't want to roll the dice today, but avocado would be absolutely gorgeous on here, so definitely recommend that. Or if you have a little bit of grilled chicken or sliced steak, would be really beautiful on here as well. So basically add whatever you want is the moral of the story. Okay, I'm going to add our dressing. I already shook it up real good, but I like to give it a nice stir just to make sure that it's all of one. It's all nice and mixed. I'm just going to spoon that generously over everything. Ooh! You guys, the salad is really beautiful. I'm getting super excited to eat it. Okay. And then, can't forget our herbs. I'm obsessed with herbs, and I love to put them on top of absolutely everything. So today I have some chives, which I thought would be really beautiful on here. I'm just going to take my kitchen scissors and go ahead and cut them directly over top so they just kind of scatter willy-nilly. My kitchen scissors are another very beloved kitchen tool. Highly recommend investing in a nice sharp pair. You know, I can cut the backbone out of a chicken with these things, but I use it most often for putting herbs just on top of pretty much every single thing that leaves my kitchen. I happen to have a bunch of parsley in the fridge today, so I'm going to put a little bit of that on as well. Again, I'm just going to keep reiterating, this is another place where you could just really go wild. I mean, first of all, if you don't have a lot of herbs, they can be kind of expensive sometimes. Scallions is a great way to go. I always have, green onions or scallions. They are very similar to a chive flavor, so you could go ahead and toss those on there if you don't want to worry about picking up herbs or whatever. But yeah, any herbs that you happen to have on hand would be gorgeous on here. Basil, dill, mint, any of the tender herbs like that. Cilantro would all be really good. So yeah, just kind of go wild with it. Do your own thing. I'm going to add even more chiveage, because that's how I roll. Alright, cool. And then I do like there to be a little bit of a crunch on my salad. So today I just roasted up some sunflower seeds that I had on hand. I just put them in a dry pan. It was a cast iron, so maybe wasn't as dry as a pan could be, but dry or with a touch of oil is totally fine. Just toasted it up until they're a little bit toasty and golden brown. Don't keep an eye on them. Don't burn them. They burn really fast. Any kind of nuts and seeds. And then just did a little salt on there. And that's what I'm going to use as my little crunch today. But again, any nut or seed that you have around would be great, like pistachio would be nice, pepitas or pumpkin seeds. Any nut or seed that you have, just give it a little bit of a toast, add some salt, and boom, you're good to go. Okay, I like to do a little bit of salt over the top and pepper just for good measure. And that's it. We are done. This is our beautiful winter citrus salad. I hope you try this at home. I hope you enjoy. We've got our beautiful lime, grapefruit, coriander vinaigrette, some grapefruit, some blood orange, some little gem lettuce. I tucked some salmon on there. Plenty of herbs and crunchies on top, and that's it. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this salad. Definitely go ahead and drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought or what other type of salad you'd like to see me demo for you. As I said, the recipe will be up on the blog, so definitely go check that out. The links will all be everywhere in all the places. Thank you so much for joining me in my messy kitchen on a snowy day. I can't wait to see what salad you create next. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye!